Tonight, somewhere in the world, someone is staring at their phone waiting for a message. Their heart is doing something strange. Their thoughts keep circling back to one person. They can't eat properly. They can't sleep the way they used to. And if you ask them what was happening, they'd probably say they were falling in love. But here's what they wouldn't say. What they wouldn't know. That this feeling, this specific, overwhelming, slightly terrifying feeling, is not modern. It is not the product of romance novels or Hollywood movies or dating apps. It is ancient. It is older than written language, older than agriculture, older than the wheel. And the reason it feels so powerful, so consuming, so completely beyond your control is exactly because it was never meant to be in your control at all. So what did ancient humans actually feel when they fell in love? What was happening in the body and the brain of a hominin 200,000 years ago when they looked at someone and something shifted? Was it the same thing you feel? And if it was, why? What did love actually do for survival? The answers will change how you think about every relationship you have ever had. Start here. Your brain on love is not doing something romantic. It is doing something biological. When you encounter someone your brain tags as a potential mate, a cascade of neurochemicals fires in a sequence that researchers have spent decades trying to fully map. Helen Fisher, a biological anthropologist at Rutgers University, has dedicated much of her career to studying exactly this. Her research identified 3 distinct but overlapping systems that drive what humans call love: lust, attraction, and attachment. Each one involves different brain chemicals. Each one served a different evolutionary purpose, and all 3 existed long before anyone wrote a poem about them. Lust is the oldest system. It is driven primarily by testosterone and estrogen, and it exists in virtually every sexually reproducing species on the planet. It is not specific. It does not lock onto one person. It is the brain saying, find a mate, reproduce. The species depends on it. This system is ancient beyond imagination. It predates the human brain as we know it. But then, something more specific happened. Attraction. This is the system that makes one person feel different from every other person. It involves dopamine, the same chemical released when you eat something delicious, win a game, or take a drug. Dopamine is not the chemical of pleasure exactly. It is the chemical of wanting, of anticipation, of craving. And when it locks onto a specific individual, it creates something that feels almost impossible to switch off. Norepinephrine joins the system. Your heart rate goes up. Your palms sweat. You notice details about this person that you notice about no one else. The color of their eyes, the specific way they laugh. Your brain is building a detailed map of this individual, etching them into your neural architecture in a way that will make them difficult, sometimes impossible, to forget. And then serotonin drops. This is the one that surprises people. In the early stages of romantic attraction, serotonin levels in the brain decrease. Researchers comparing brain chemistry found that people newly in love had serotonin levels similar to people with obsessive-compulsive disorder, which might explain why you cannot stop thinking about them, why they appear in your thoughts uninvited, constantly, the way a song gets stuck in your head but the song is a person. Now here is the question that matters. Did ancient humans feel all of this? The answer, based on everything evolutionary biology and neuroscience currently understands, is yes. Completely yes. Because the brain systems that generate these feelings are not new. They did not emerge with civilization. The dopamine reward system is among the oldest structures in the vertebrate brain. Oxytocin, the bonding chemical that deepens over time into what we call long-term love, is found in mammals that lived millions of years before the first human walked upright. These systems evolved because they worked, because pair bonding, or something close to it, gave early humans a survival advantage that solitary reproduction could not match. Think about what an infant hominin needed to survive. It needed years of intensive care. Unlike most other species, human babies are born helpless and remain dependent for an extraordinary length of time. A mother caring for a newborn alone on the African savannah was in serious danger. A mother with a partner who stayed, who hunted, who protected, who helped carry and feed and defend, had dramatically better odds. And so did her children. This is the evolutionary logic beneath love. Not poetry, not candlelight, pure survival mathematics, but the feeling itself, the longing, the obsession, the specific electricity of being near one particular person and no one else. That was not manufactured. That was real. Anthropologists studying contemporary hunter-gatherer societies, including extensive fieldwork by researchers like Helen Fisher and Kim Wallen, have documented that love songs, love poetry, and jealousy exist in virtually every human culture ever studied. Everyone. Across geography, across language, across thousands of years of separation. The experience of romantic love appears to be a human universal, not a cultural invention. There is a body of evidence suggesting that even the rituals around courtship in ancient humans were more sophisticated than we once assumed. Archaeological finds from sites across Africa dating back over 70,000 years include ochre pigments used for body decoration, shell beads that appear to have been worn as jewelry, and evidence of grooming behaviors. These are not the artifacts of people merely trying to survive. These are the artifacts of people trying to be noticed, trying to attract, trying to signal something specific to a specific someone. Your ancestors dressed up. Your ancestors tried to look their best for the person they wanted. The impulse you feel to present yourself well, to wear something particular, to choose your words more carefully around someone you're attracted to, is the same impulse that moved through a human being 70,000 years ago, stringing shells onto a cord. And jealousy. The dark twin of love. The thing that makes romantic attachment feel like it has teeth. Jealousy also appears to be universal and ancient. From an evolutionary standpoint, it makes brutal sense. If your pair bond abandons you for another mate, your reproductive investment is threatened. Your children's survival is threatened. The anxiety and anger that we call jealousy is the brain's alarm system protecting a bond that, for most of human history, had life or death consequences. So when you feel that irrational, uncomfortable spike of jealousy, you are not being petty or immature. You're running a protection program that is older than language, older than fire, older than almost anything you would recognize as civilized behavior. Now here is where it gets stranger still. Attachment. The third system. This is the one that transforms attraction into something longer, quieter, deeper. It is driven largely by oxytocin and vasopressin. Oxytocin is released during physical touch, during sex, during childbirth, during breastfeeding. It is sometimes called the bonding chemical, though that undersells it. It is the chemical of trust, of safety, of the specific feeling that this person is home. Vasopressin plays a particular role in long-term pair bonding, especially in males. Studies on prairie voles, one of the few genuinely monogamous mammal species, have shown that blocking vasopressin receptors causes previously bonded males to lose interest in their partners entirely. The bond simply dissolves. The implication for human pair bonding is significant. These are not feelings that exist only in the mind. They have a precise biological architecture. They are built into the brain the way hunger is built in, the way the need for sleep is built in. Ancient humans fell in love the way you fall in love. They felt the pull of a specific person. They felt the obsessive quality of early attraction. They felt the deepening of attachment over time. They felt the grief of loss. Researchers studying the skeletal remains of ancient humans have found evidence of care for injured and elderly individuals who could not have survived without sustained help from others. This is what long-term attachment looks like in the archaeological record. Not a love letter. A healed bone. Someone stayed, someone fed them. Someone chose to keep them alive when survival logic might have suggested otherwise. That is love. In its oldest and most fundamental form. That is what your ancient ancestors were capable of and what you inherited from them. And the next time you catch yourself staring at your phone, waiting for a message, heart doing something strange, thoughts circling back to one person who seems to have taken up residence in your brain without asking permission, remember this. You are not weak. You are not irrational. You are running one of the oldest programs in the human body. A program that kept your ancestors alive, that kept their children alive, that built the first human bonds across the dark and dangerous world they lived in. Tonight, someone is waiting for a message, and 200,000 years ago, someone was waiting too. Not for a message, maybe for a footstep, maybe for a face at the entrance of a shelter as the sun went down. The feeling was the same. The brain stayed the same, as did the ancient need to be someone's chosen one.